And we are back. Welcome to the Grab Some Popcorn podcast. This is episode 2. Welcome back. Glad to have you. Hope you enjoyed episode 1. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, please be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Subscribe if you're on Spotify. Subscribe if you're on Apple Podcasts. And be sure to go listen to episode 1 if you have not. Got a fun episode in store for y'all. Hope you're ready. Make sure to grab some popcorn and here we go. So, might have been about last week, Netflix released the Happy Gilmore 2 sequel starring Adam Sandler and a slew of other people. We both did watch it, and we're going to give you our review of it. I'm going to pass it over to my host, Emmanuel, to start this thing off.
All right. What's up, everyone? So, Happy Gilmore 2. I just saw it recently, and I was pretty pleasantly surprised. I mean, I knew what it was going to be, but some sequels fall off. I don't think this one did. This one, it had no technical errors, like there was no bad acting or audio visual problems or editing problems, no real confusion in the story or the script. So I'm not going to give it anything less than a 5 out of 10. That's my rule. If it was technically sound, the movie can't get a less than a 5 out of 10. I see people giving out 1 or 2 star scores for perfectly sound movies. That's not me. So, okay, let's see. Some things that I liked. Well, it was really funny. It was really entertaining. It had a bunch of people from the first one, which I like to see. When I watch a sequel, I like to see, most of the cast from the first one. I don't like to see a sequel where there's not even one actor that's the same from the first one. I saw Rob Schneider, Steve Buscemi. In this one I saw Ben Stiller, Eminem. It was an all-star cast. It was a super fun movie. Gets an A. It was one of the better sequels. I broke it down into, I scored a bunch of different elements of the movie, and the score that I gave it, if anyone cares to know, was 92 out of 100. So wow, it was an actual A. When I say it was an A, I actually broke it down and gave separate, things scores, and it got 92 points. So it was a really good movie. And I guess I'll just jump into what I didn't like, because people love to hear what they didn't like. So there was a few bad things, but I'm going to start off with some of the good things because I'm not going to be all doom and gloom. The golf action, on point. Most of the comedy was funny. All-star cast, they worked together well. The story was on point, easy to follow. Now, some things I didn't like, and what it lost some points on was some of the comedy was kind of vulgar. Kind of disgusting. I'm not too big of a fan of disgusting or vulgar comedy, such as mooning people, or using disabled people, or making a heavy use of alcoholism. These were far from deal breakers. I did take some points off, but they weren't deal breakers. Like I said, I gave it 92 out of 100. So these are just small things that if I was to nitpick on, it's what I would nitpick on. I think they took the drinking thing a bit too far. I hate when they make fun of disabled people or do stuff like run around naked, because some of that stuff's not funny. It's just stupid to me. Either way, the film gets an A. I just deducted a few points for some of the comedy being a bit too outlandish for me, but others might like it. 92 out of 100, Happy Gilmore 2 gets an A from me. That's what I thought.
Fantastic review. And I do agree with a lot of what you said, for sure. For me, I enjoyed this movie. Off the bat, I'm going to tell you my score, 8 out of 10. Usually, comedy movies, I don't go too hard on, because I feel like for the sake of a comedy movie, the plot can be a little silly. So we want to laugh, we want to see familiar faces, and we want to have a good time when we watch these types of movies. I thought the story was good. It was a good redemption story for Happy. He did kill his wife in the beginning, unfortunately. Crazy accident, her getting hit with the golf ball, which forced him to retire from golf, but then he goes right back into it so he can afford his daughter to go to some dancing school, something like that.
Yeah, ballet school.
Yeah, ballet school. So I thought that was a great for the redemption story, and then them having the rival golf form. It was like they made up a different type of golf form. Like I guess it was like some short form of golf. But either way, I thought that was great for the plot. I know a lot of the jokes were good. One of my favorite jokes that happened in the movie when they were practicing on the golf course for the first time, and he was with Eric Andre, and they were in the golf cart, and he fell asleep because he was too drunk. Fell asleep, crashed the golf cart, got fired from his job. Like that whole, stretch of the movie right there, that joke, very funny. Like I was hilariously laughing on the couch. What I didn't like about the movie, I didn't have too many gripes with this movie. I thought and when I say that, I don't mean like it's like the perfect movie. Just my taste personally, I didn't think anything was wrong. I am a big fan of Adam Sandler. I like a lot of his movies and his style of comedy. So this movie was right up my alley, honestly. And I would definitely recommend it. But I thought that they did a good job. It's good to see these movies coming back. I gotta be honest, I did not see the first Happy Gilmore. I may have seen bits and pieces of it. I know it's a cult classic. I need to go rewatch it, or actually watch it for the first time. But I did not see the first Happy Gilmore. So some of the jokes, some of the cameos and references didn't land for me. But that's just on my part for not seeing the movie. Like I should have watched it, the first one, beforehand. But overall, yeah, 8 out of 10. I would definitely recommend. I would even watch it again after seeing the first one. A lot of cameos in this movie, for sure. And before we get into the cameos, I just want to know, do you have any favorite Adam Sandler movies? And if so, what are they?
Favorite Adam Sandler movies. I do have a favorite Adam Sandler movies. The ones that come to mind for me, there's that one movie, Uncut Gems, when he's like he's like a jewelry dealer and he found some opal or something that was like an African opal. And long story short, he's not a good, he like gambles a lot and drinks and stuff. It wasn't really a comedy though, but that's one of my more favorite Adam Sandler movies. Is called Uncut Gems. And another movie that I really like that he's in is called The Cobbler. I'm not sure if it's a real popular movie of his. Like everyone's seen Waterboy and Big Daddy, but I'm not sure how many people would have seen The Cobbler. Those are two of his movies that stand out, and ironically, they're not actually comedies. So, but those are two of the greats that I think he's made.
Yeah, Adam Sandler, honestly, really great actor. He has a catalog of movies, and he just has so much range, honestly. Like the two movies you spoke of, The Cobbler, Uncut Gems, he's playing two totally different people. And obviously actors play different people in movies, but, some actors don't really have that range to bring a totally different character to life. Like just naming some of my favorite movies, Big Daddy, he plays the stepfather. Then in Little Nicky, that's one of my favorite movies. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm pretty sure he plays the son of the devil. And like the character that he is, like he twists his mouth up. He gives them a different, type of speech, different accent, and he was hunched over in the movie. Like, just like the physicality that he did in that movie is just so different from any other movie he's done. You mentioned Uncut Gems. That's another great movie. He plays a jeweler. So just his ability to play all these different roles, and the water boy, he played Bobby Boucher, and he had the speech impediment in that movie. Like, it's just, I think it really just speaks to his genius and his ability to act. You were gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say how Waterboy is Waterboy is a classic. Waterboy is one of those movies that I've watched 10 or 15 times, and I can rewatch it every so often. You know what I mean? That movie never falls off.
Yeah, definitely. He has a lot of great ones. But back to the cameos that popped up in this movie. They had a lot. I think there was about 67. I would say, just to list off some of my favorites, I'll let you go next. But for me, Eminem, definitely one of my favorites. Eminem is like a very seriously underrated actor. I think anytime I've ever seen him in a movie, he's absolutely stolen the scene. 8 Mile is one of my favorite movies, and I feel like he needs to do more acting. He just went completely Slim Shady in this movie, and they threw him in the lake, and he got ate by the alligators, and he was just completely Eminem / Slim Shady all the way up until his last line. I thought Bad Bunny, I thought he did a great job too in this movie. I seen that Bad Bunny actually has another movie coming out. I'm blanking on the title right now, but he is in a movie coming out. I think I want to say Austin Butler is in it, and the woman, I'm blanking on her name. She was Catwoman in the recent Batman movie. I'm blanking, but either way.
I know the one you're talking about. Is that the one where
Robert Patterson, the Batman, the one that came out, she was the Catwoman. Look it up real quick. I'm just blanking on her name, but he has a movie coming out. He's in that movie, and I feel like he's kind of playing the same role. I don't know what Bad Bunny's acting range is going to look like, but I thought he did a great job. He was pretty funny in this movie.
Is it Caught Stealing?
Yeah, Caught Stealing.
That's the one.
Yeah, what's the actress's name? The main actress in that movie?
The main actress?
Yeah, I'm blanking on it. What's the cast? It's Zoe Kravitz.
Kravitz.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz. So he's going to be in that, and his role looks kind of similar to what he did in Bad Bunny. So it definitely should be some comedy relief. He looks like the comedy relief in that movie. And he definitely was in Happy Gilmore 2 as well. Did you have any favorite cameos?
From Happy Gilmore
Yes.
2? I love that part where we're just sitting there watching the movie, and out of nowhere, Rob Schneider appears on like a kid's bike, and he's screaming, "You can do it!" I almost cheered. I was like, yeah!
Yes, that is a solid line, reoccurring line in some of the other cameos he's done.
Yeah, it's like always
And
happens. Someone
Adam Sandler,
always pops out screaming, "You can do it!" in any movie, like randomly in a movie. I was just like, I cheered. That was my favorite thing. There were others, obviously, but my favorite, it was definitely that.
What about, cameos are a great thing in movies, too. I love when cameos happen. Well-known actor pops up. You didn't know about it. I know Marvel has, made them famous, but they have been around in movies long before Marvel made it into what a cameo is now. I'm wondering if you have any favorite cameos, you and any audience members listening. If you have any favorite cameos or had a favorite cameo from the Happy Gilmore 2 movie, be sure to drop it in the comments. But for me, in general, favorite cameo, I would say Drew Barrymore in Scream. I'm only counting this as a cameo because she was just in the very beginning of the movie, but I don't know if people remember. Drew Barrymore was the girl that died first in Scream, and she was also on the movie poster, with the other main characters in the movie, which a lot of people thought was funny because it made it seem like she was going to be, a standing character in the franchise, only for her to die to be the first kill, die within the first 5 minutes. So, and they had the not infamous, but the famous, scene where he's chasing around on the lawn and the slow motion kill. So that was a big thing for Scream. And, I would say that. And, Matt Damon, one of my, favorite cameos that he's done, the very popular and well-known cameo in Eurotrip, where he sings that song, Scotty Doesn't Know. Familiar? Yeah, Scotty Doesn't Know. Everyone was singing that, back in middle school or high school. It's been so long, but yeah, definitely two of my favorite cameos ever. What about you, sir?
I think for cameos, this is the one where I think is my favorite, is there was this one Spider-Man movie, and so you basically have Spider-Man, then they open up a portal and you see Spider-Man, like you see Andrew Garfield.
Are you talking about No Way Home?
Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. You see Andrew Garfield through the portal, and the whole entire theater erupts into applause. And I'm like, that's like the previous Spider-Man from a different universe. And then in the same movie, another portal opens up, and you've got Tobey Maguire, who's the Spider-Man even before that from a different universe. And those, I don't know if that counts as two cameos or what, but that movie, those cameos, to me, were the most epic. The whole theater erupts in applause, and when I myself was like so excited, I was like, oh man, we've got like 3 Spider-Mans from different universes here together, so that was fine.
Yeah, that was special. I remember seeing that in the theaters as well, and the best part of seeing those cameos, honestly, is like when you see them in the theater and everyone is just engaging and laughing and clapping. You only get magical moments like that in the movie theaters. I do love watching movies at home as well, but in the theaters, honestly, that is where the magic truly, truly happens. So, all right. So I recently went to go see the new Together movie. It's from the Neon Studio, and it stars Dave Franco and Allison Brie. They play Tim and Millie. And I'm going to let you guys know how I felt about it. So Together was basically a relationship horror movie that sprinkled a little relationship on top of horror. I'm not sure if it was by accident or possession, because the movie didn't really explain, but we will get into that. Let's just say this was a relationship horror movie. I suggest you go see this. I went to go see it alone, but if you're in a relationship and you have someone that wants to see it, definitely go see it with them. Definitely a 2-seater movie. All right, so the movie starts off with a goodbye party for the lovely main character couple of the movie. The girlfriend is excited about matching outfits, and the boyfriend is about as excited as I would be for that same occasion. You can already tell there's an extreme disconnect between the two, but he seems to be thrilled about playing in some band at his big age. The going away party is capped off by an embarrassing proposal, which is insane enough because the proposal is done by the Millie character, and I just don't know too many women that are proposing to men nowadays, especially unprompted and in a room full of their friends. So let alone, even just staying with them after how tragic this proposal went down. Tim barely even said anything for a whole minute, and then after she nervously got back to her feet, he, the light switch must have went on, and he says yes. These two seem more stuck metaphorically before they become physically stuck together, but the movie doesn't really explain why. I assume it's supposed to be like a toxic relationship thing, but neither of these people seem toxic. They just seem not. Like, they just seem unable to break up with each other for reasons that aren't even explained in the movie. But let's go deeper into the movie. So after the party and embarrassing proposal, the movie gives us a nightmare sequence with no explanation of why these characters matter, and then they are already at the house that they purchased. So the movie kind of just jumps ahead to the next day. I think the film missed out on showing us a great driving scene and just going more in depth into the relationship. We could have had more fleshed out characters for sure, but they decided to not, delve deeper into the relationship and show a real connection of why these people are together, other than just being in the movie. So once they get to the house, the frustrations of the relationship begin to brew, which include them not having sex, temptation from Millie's co-worker that she meets at work. She's a school teacher, and Tim's lack of care just for Millie or this relationship. And for two people that can't be without each other, it doesn't seem so, because when Millie meets her co-worker, he asks her if she's single, and she responds that Tim is her boy partner, whatever that's supposed to mean. Instead of just flat out saying, yes, I have a boyfriend, she does a word salad of titles and she lands on boy partner. So the movie is just really showing us that there's almost no real reason why these two need to be together other than this movie just happening. Because in real life, I mean, this guy, he has no job, no driver's license, and he just depends on his girlfriend like she's his mother. So I can't really see why these people are together over and over again in this movie. The movie does briefly touch on an event of Tim walking in on his father's death and his mother still being alive. But for some reason, this event only affects his relationship. It doesn't affect his aspirations of being a musician as a 30-plus-year-old man. The film, it doesn't really show any other source of income coming in other than Millie being a teacher. Yet somehow they were able to move out of the city and buy a house. So who knows who's really shouldering the load of finances between these two. As the movie progresses, they find themselves lost in the woods during a hike, and Tim falls into a hole. Now, I have to backtrack real quick, because at the beginning of the movie, they do show this same hole in the ground, and apparently some people, a couple before that lived in the area, also went hiking in those same woods and fell into that same hole, and they were never seen again. So during Tim's fall, he drags Millie down with him, and for some reason they're trapped there all night. And I say that because in the morning when they wake up, they just climb right out. So I'm not sure why they stayed there down night and all night. And while they were down there, they drink some underwater cavern water. Even though it was raining and they had water bottles, they decided to drink some water that was just down there. So after they climbed out, Tim finds himself much more drawn to Millie. It's kind of weird. He went from absolutely not being able to do anything physical with her to suddenly being extremely drawn to her. And once again, the movie does this with no explanation. Now, of course, they drink the water, but, all he did was just drink some water. So it's unknown if this is like spiritual or demonic, but like I say, there's no background on any of this in the movie, so you just kind of have to go along with it. After a few awkward moments of being stuck together, the cat comes out the bag while Millie is breaking and entering into her neighbor's home. She had left some keys over there previously and stumbles upon a movie playing which shows a cult in a church, the same church where the hole in the forest was. And the creepy coworker, he comes out and explains how his deceased, and I'm saying this in quotations, deceased husband, they fused into one. And honestly, this point was kind of a letdown, because they made it seem like this guy was like some temptation for Jamie, but the whole time he was actually he was gay. And it just was a little disappointing because you kind of thought that he would like come in and maybe cause some real turmoil into this relationship, but that's not where it was going at all. So while he's there and this video is playing, he's imploring Jamie and no, not Jamie. He's imploring Millie and Tim to become one, because the other option is they become like some crazy monstrosity, basically. So while she tries to escape, the co-worker delivers a very deep wound to her hand, and this wound is causing her to bleed out. Eventually she gets out of the house, and Tim saves her by fusing themselves together, and they become one, and they show you what it looks like at the end of the movie, which was kind of very underwhelming for me. I thought they could have had a much better ending other than that, because it just leaves a lot of plot holes. It makes you wonder, like, is the town in on this? Do the people know? How many other fused people are there? It's just like, I mean, it's good when movies leave you with questions, but it's not good when they leave you with plot holes. What I can say for sure is that this movie has many things working against it for the story to make sense. Unlike other body horror movies that build up characters with the message, this movie does not. If you take a movie like The Substance, the character had to deal with the themes of the movie, which involved aging out of Hollywood and beauty standards, things of that nature, and it all comes together for the character in the movie, like, to mesh into this one, beautiful message at the end of the movie. But I can't say for the same in this movie, as there's nothing believable about their relationship, and even without the explanation of why they're fusing together, it would have been much more entertaining to see the struggle after a breakup than to see these two force this on-screen relationship. I ended up giving it a 5 out of 10, but I do recommend it to horror movie lovers to watch, but I probably would not watch this movie again. So, moving along, I have noticed that there has been a great resurgence of modern day sequels, with the Happy Gilmore 2 releasing. We have Freakier Friday coming out. They're bringing back the Naked Gun series with Liam Neeson, and a lot of them have been hit or miss in the recently. They've had Coming to America 2, they've had Top Gun Maverick, which is a very big movie. And I'm just wondering, Emmanuel, what do you think about the resurgence of these modern day sequels?
I think they're hit and miss. Some work out really well, while others miss the mark. For example, not even for example, but just what I think is sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes there's an original movie that is so good. Everything is planned so meticulously. Everything is just so perfect in that first movie that when they put out the sequel, it could never match it. And I think that's happened a few times, to where the sequel isn't bad. It's just the fact that you'd never be able to match the first movie because of the amount of planning and how meticulously everything was done. And an example of that would be something along the lines of, let's say, for instance, Jurassic Park. I think the first Jurassic Park was literally one of the best movies that was ever made, right? I think it even earned that title with how much money they made at the box office. But then there's just simply no way that they could have, that the sequels could have only played off the first one, and they could never actually be as good as the first one. That's just my 2 cents on how some sequels work.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good for sure. I like to see these modern day sequels and to see the follow up on characters, especially when the movie is really old. Like, Happy Gilmore, that's from the 90s, and we're all the way in 2025 now. So, it stinks that you have to wait so long, and people probably weren't even expecting there to be a Happy Gilmore 2. But it's great when they, do a continuation and you get to just see a modern version of the character living in the world today. So I'm wondering, are there any other like old movies that you think would be worth a modern visit today? Like for me, I'll start it off, but I mentioned this movie earlier in the episode, and I really miss these type of comedies. Like we don't really get these comedies anymore, but I think Euro Trip would be a great reboot for today, and I just wish that they would bring back those like raunchy adult comedies that we used to get in the early 2000s and in the 90s. Movies like Euro Trip, movies like American Pie, movies like Road Trip. Like we need to bring those comedy movies back that push the boundaries of comedy and just really, let it all out there, respectfully, of course, but even maybe not so respectfully, because it's just jokes at the end of the day. I don't think anyone like should be protected from a joke. It's just a joke. So, I mean, maybe certain things are taboo, like not everything, but for the most part, people need to be able to get these jokes. I watched an Adam Sandler movie that was it was a couple years old. It was like from the early 2010s. It was called That's My Boy. I don't remember the co-star in the movie, but basically the premise of the movie was this guy, when he was a kid, he slept with his teacher and he became famous, and he wound up having kids, and one of his kids basically, embarrassed of the whole thing, isolated himself from the family. And when he went and got married, it became big news. And the father, who's played by Adam Sandler, obviously his fame went dry because it just was off him sleeping with his teacher at a young age. And, he had a kid with the teacher that he slept with. So a lot of, I don't want to go full into the movie, but a lot of things happened, and it was just a very funny movie, very raunchy. And I'm just like, there's no way this type of movie could be made today. Just like a lot of those movies I just mentioned, Road Trip, American Pie. Like I can't really see those movies being made the way they were back then being made today. So, if we could bring those type of movies back with those same, with that same comedy style, I think that would be great. What about you?
So, we're talking about an old movie that I think would benefit from having a sequel. Okay, so I'm an action fan, so I know about an action movie. There was this old movie called Point Break with Keanu Reeves, and it was the whole, it was like the premise of he's like a cop who's investigating a very elite team of bank robbers, and so he goes in as a surfer because he hears that they're surfers, and he tries to, be a surfer just to find out what team is out here robbing these banks. And if you've never seen it before, it's a great movie. Keanu Reeves was pretty young in that movie. It was like, I think in the 90s, and it's called Point Break. And I think that if they were to make a Point Break 2, that would be super awesome. They can have him like maybe, have him still be like a FBI agent or, a law enforcement agent. And maybe this time, there's like another team robbing banks, and maybe, twist the story in a way to where he's on the case and it's kind of like a similar thing. And, it'd be just great to see, because that's just a great movie. I must have seen it 10, 15 times. And it's just, it's nothing super special. It's just that the story is awesome. Like, it's like one of those, there's lots of movies where, you have the cop infiltrating the villain's gang, and he kind of, that's how he finds out. There's movies like that, but that was definitely one of the first ones that I've seen that was really good. So I think Point Break 2 would be great.
Awesome. That sounded like it was an action movie?
Yeah, it was definitely an action movie.
That makes me think another good action movie that they should bring back The Bourne Supremacy. Remember those movies with Jason Bourne?
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
They need to bring something like that back. Seriously. I mean, I've seen those movies. It was a while ago. I don't remember how the story arc ended for Jason Bourne, but even if they had to make a new one, like, they should definitely bring those back. If you guys have any cult classics that have yet to see a sequel, make sure you drop that in the comments and let us know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for coming by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate all the listeners, and we look forward to bringing you episode 3 the following week. So thanks for listening, and don't forget to grab some popcorn on the way out. We'll see you guys next week.